Hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of Dark Side of the Kitchen. And thank you for the feedback on the previous ones. Really appreciate it. And if you could drop a like, that'd be fantastic. Don't forget to subscribe and feel free to drop a comment. Good, bad, or indifferent, So today, as the title says, it's called The Chef's Mask. And I do believe this particular podcast, or what I'm talking about in this one, is open across a multitude of positions within hospitality and outside of hospitality. So I think it has a broader conversation than just being a chef, I mean, have you ever looked at somebody and thought they're doing all right? They've got it together. They seem happy. Truth is, you never really know. You don't, because every single day people walk through life wearing masks. That is just a fact of life. That's everybody, And obviously, I'm going to talk about the chef one, but I think everybody does to an extent in certain. In work and in certain circumstances. People walk through life wearing masks. Some wear them in offices, some wear them in schools, some wear them at home, and some wear them in the kitchens. Tonight isn't about recipes, it isn't about awards, it isn't about food costs or menus. Tonight's about something much more personal. It's about the face we show the world and the one we hide from everybody else. Welcome to the dark side of the kitchen. Before we begin, I want to thank everybody for being here, for listening to this and to the previous ones. And if you enjoy these honest conversations about hospitality and the people behind it, I really appreciate it if you would like, follow, subscribe. Come on and do an episode with me. Every interaction helps us reach more people in the industry and keeps the conversation alive. And I think now more than ever, we need to keep the conversations alive and honest, good and bad. And I've said on this podcast many times, while there is bad stuff about this industry, there is good stuff about this industry, and plenty of it. It what keeps us coming back time and again. So let's talk about some things chefs understands. I think one of for me, I presume it is more my generation age group than maybe the newer guys, and maybe I'm wronging them here. Feel free to let me know. Putting on a chef jacket meant something. It carried a weight. I think that's lost on the younger generation, the history of it, the why, I don't know, is that the college training doesn't do it anymore. Maybe it didn't do it with us, we just learned it, but it changes you. You can have your worst night's sleep. You can be worried about paying the bills. You can have argued with somebody you loved. You could be grieving. You could be exhausted. But as soon as the jacket goes on, you're a chef. You're expected to have the answers. You're expected to stay calm. You're expected to lead. And somehow, you're expected to leave everything else at the kitchen door. I have said it to people. And they're having a bad day and I go, what's wrong with you? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Leave it at the kitchen door. It's easy to say, man, none of us can switch off our fears just because service has started. You know what I mean? It's not the way it works. The mask, I think every chef has one. You smile at the guests, you encourage the young apprentices, you joke with the brigade, you thank the suppliers, you check the plates, you solve the problems. But inside, you're carrying things nobody can see. Could be burnout, stress, anxiety, pressures, family problems, health concerns, sometimes nothing more complex than just having a bad day or being tired. And yet somehow, service still goes. Last year I went through an old tough time myself with a bit of a health thing, For those that would know me well, I had a lump on my neck Scar is there from it. It had been there for years. It was a misfiring thyroid gland or something. Then last year, all of a sudden, it grew. And I mean, in a day or two. And ended up going to the doctor. They straight into hospital to have it removed. They found lumps in my neck. Them removed, treatment. So, but I had the surgery to remove it. And like that, straight away, they're removing lumps from your neck and putting you on treatment. How serious is this? What will it do to me? Well, you know what I mean? Do I have to give up work? Do I, a lot of thoughts went through my head. A lot. Frightening thoughts. So I took a week or 2 out, had the operation. Now that happens, it was falling right into a time I booked a week off. So it was just that little bit extra. Then I went back to work. And some days I felt like shit. Some days I had nausea, and I had a lot of days I had nausea actually. I felt terrible and brain fog and exhaustion, and what you put on the jacket, it didn't matter. People wanted an answer. People wanted what are we doing with this? What's that? It was the same thing. It made no difference. I smiled, I did my job. There was very few people who knew what was really happening, and very less people knew what was happening in my head. And that's a very small number, very, very small number. Some masks hide tiredness, some hide fear. Grief, mine hid uncertainty, and I know I'm not the only one. This isn't a fucking sob story. All is good, you know what I mean? All is good in that aspect, Life throws things at you, whether it's you personally or whether it's within your family or friend base. But when you're in work, and I think this to me is one of the downsides of hospitality. It doesn't fucking matter, keep going, you know what I mean? It's that silence culture. For years, kitchens celebrated toughness. They keep going, don't complain, push through, pride and resilience. There always will be, but resilience shouldn't mean suffering in silence. You know what I mean? The strongest brigade isn't the one that ignores problems. The one where people look out for each other, where asking for help isn't seen as weakness. When someone notices one of your colleagues isn't himself, what's the saying? It's okay not to be okay, So, across hospitality, conversations about well-being have been taking place for the last number of years, rightly so. I still don't think they've permeated into it fully, and I'll tell you why. The hours are the same. So if people were serious about that, the hours would change wholesale. They are changing in places and different things, but wholesale, you know what I mean? I know some places are recognizing it, and they're to do with the long hours, and and there is a staffing shortage, a constant pressure. We all know this, and as I said many times, I don't have the simple answer to this, because there isn't. It's a multitude of answers. But I think instead of looking at hospitality, and in my mind, hospitality is starting to fail. Now, by that I don't mean the people in it are doing a bad job. They're not. In fact, they're doing an astounding job given the present situation. But I think there is so much hopping off of hospitality and so many things drawing off of it, that hospitality itself has put on this mask to hide everything. And I think everything from the hours that are worked, the size of menus, kitchen opening times are all going to have to change massively. And I've said this before in a previous podcast. I actually think every place has too big of a menu, and people need to focus on a smaller menu that is almost specialized into one thing. You know what I mean? Because you're not going to have an option here anymore. Simple as that. Do you know what I mean? And it's not because chefs became weaker. I don't think they did. You know, but we're finally having honest conversations with each other, which you wouldn't have had 20 years ago. And that's progress. I think it's too slow. I'd like to ask you something, whether you're a chef, a waiter, manager, you've ever worked in hospitality. You could be working on a building site, you could be working behind a till. Have you ever gone to work wearing a smile while carrying something heavy inside? You know, that's the mask you're wearing. If you feel comfortable sharing it, leave a comment, man. You never know who might read your words and need it, you know, when they realize they're not facing the struggles alone. You know, and you know, and I don't think it's hospitality related. I think there's certain challenges within hospitality in it, but the weight of leadership, because it's so fast moving, that, and unlike other industries, the shortage of staff has led to staff being ahead of where they should be, which creates another problem. People think leadership is about having all the answers. It isn't. It isn't at all. Leadership is about making sure nobody else sees you struggle. You know, as a head chef, people come to you all day. The supplier is here. This is missing. I need to know this. We're running out of this. Table 14 has a fucking dairy allergy, and everything they've ordered has fucking dairy in it. And do something about it. Which recently happened to me. One woman on a table, everything she ordered, blatantly full of dairy. You're like going, really? You know, and the one which was said to me very recently by one of the chefs, Chef, can I have a quick word? You know that's never going to be good. That's like, oh, please, you know. And every question needs an answer, and every problem needs solving, and every decision lands on one pair of shoulders. The other side to that is you're fucking paid for it. You have the title. It is your job to answer these questions. It is your job to solve those problems. You know, but like some days when you're just really busy, you're just like, oh, seriously, like, you know, the higher you climb in hospitality, the lonelier it gets, because everybody expects you to be the strong one who looks after the leader. You know, I hit burnout last year, you know, and burnout doesn't arrive at once. It creeps in. It's not one thing you wake up and you go, whoa, Jesus. You know, you know, it creeps in. Sleep. You start losing patience over little things, you know, that you would never have done before. Your passion starts feeling like pressure. Service becomes dread. And it's just a busy week. Another busy week comes, and then another. And before you know it, months have passed. And when you're still turning up, you're still leading, you're still smiling, but inside, you're running on empty. And people around you won't notice. Not at the start, not even in the middle, because you become so good at wearing the mask. And that's where the problem is. You know what I mean? Can I ask every chef listening something? You stand there every night, you're running your pass, you're doing whatever. You know, when was the last time somebody walked in and asked you, how are you? And meant actually, how are you? Not in passing, but just said it. You know, not how's service, not how's the job, or not, you know, any of that. Just genuinely asking how you were, you know. something we always don't think about, but like the apprentices watches their head chef. Not just how to cook, like how we behave, how we deal with pressure, how we speak to people, how we speak to them, how we react when things go wrong. And what we teach them is never show emotion, you know, or the emotion is a lunatic one, you know. You have to show strength, but you can show kindness and discipline mixed with compassion, professionalism mixed with honesty. And that's how a culture changes, you know. You'll often hear people saying that the brigade is a family. They're not my family. I have a family, you know. But they are my friends. They're my colleagues. They work, you know, with me, and because it's just something we say, isn't it? But like the best kitchens, I think, if you look after each other. When somebody needs it and somebody notices it. Though, you know, can't always be. I mean, there's another side to wearing a mask. If you wear it for too long, you'll start to believe nobody wants to see the real you, you know? You convince yourself that asking for help is a failure, that stepping back is a failure. It's not. You have a limit. You're a person. There's only so much you can take. There's only so much you know. There's only so many answers you have. You know? Never let it get on top of you, you know, and reach out to people. You know, recognize we all have limits. It's not weakness. You know what I mean? It's wisdom. I don't have half enough wisdom. Just top of that. I mean, I'd love to hear from you. You ever worked with somebody who made you feel valued, or perhaps made you feel dread coming in? You know? Leave a comment below. The best lessons in hospitality don't come from the cookbooks. They never did and they never will. You know? Simple as that. They come from each other, you know? If you're enjoying these conversations, don't forget to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. To keep these conversations going and to reach out to other people, you know, and get maybe some of their stories just going, you know. I mean, every service ends. The last dessert leaves the pass. Final table pays, the lights in the dining room go out, the hum of the fans goes down, and the kitchen slowly falls silent, you know. The pans are scrubbed, the knives are put away, drawers are washed, and one by one the team heads home. And long after they're all gone, that's when the mask begins to slip, because there's no audience anymore. There's no brigade. There's no customers, there's just you and your thoughts. I always said I loved to drive home after work, you know? Drive there was just fucking getting there, but I loved to drive home, and doesn't matter time of year. It could be, or as it is now, beautiful, bright outside, sunny when you're going home, my window will be down, music will be turned on. It could be the end of January, and it's pissing rain, and it's cold, my window will be down and my music will be up, and I drive home at my leisure. And it's where I clear my head after service. It's where on the wheel, you know, driving home in silence, sometimes not even in silence, sometimes talking away to myself quite loudly, like not in my head, out loud. You know, replaying my day, thinking about something that happened that day, or, you know, if something happened that day, did I deal with it well? Could I have dealt with it better? What should I have said? Questioning decisions I made, and then planning tomorrow, you know, going through my head, did I place the fucking orders? You know, did I ring the fisherman? And then sometimes thinking about life far away from a kitchen that had nothing to do with a kitchen. And it's amazing how loud our own thoughts get when all the noise around us stops, you know? You know, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with being tough, and the industry demands resilience. That's all good, you know? And I think it's good for you to have some in life. And I think we all see plenty of videos online of people that don't, you know? But it asks you to solve problems under pressure and quickly remain calm, and deliver your best, even no matter what. These are qualities to be proud of as well, you know. Toughness and silence are not the same thing. I think sometimes we put them together. Strength isn't pretending you're invincible. Strength is knowing when to ask for support. And that's very easy to fucking say and very hard to do. And then the other side is, it's hard to do because of the industry you're in, whereas if you said it to somebody, it's the wrong somebody, you know. I think that's part of it too, you know. And the best chefs I worked with, I remember, not because they shouted the loudest, not because they won the most awards or had the biggest egos. They encouraged you, they challenged you, they listened. Years later, I'm friends with a lot of these guys, and I remember them not for their cooking, and I know they were all amazing chefs, but that's not why I remember them most fondly. You know, it was the other side of them I remember most. And if you're a young chef and you're starting your journey, and it's a great journey to go on, and it can take you great places, but you do have to be disciplined, and not just in, I think you have to be disciplined in life, but you have to be disciplined in yourself, in your learning, in your pushing yourself, and not relying on everybody to push you, and learning yourself, not just relying on the bits you're going to pick up. And don't get into the world of drinking drugs. It goes nowhere. No, yeah, I know, I'm talking about it, you're dead right, that's the cat. Agreeing with me, I'm going to say. Learn everything you can, accept criticism, strive for excellence, avoid the suffering, look after your health, protect your relationships, all of them, you know, take pride in your craft. And remember, a long career is built on consistency, you know. And if you're a head chef, an executive, a restaurant manager, there are people watching you, you know. Remember that. They're learning from you even when you're not trying to teach them, you know. You know, set your own standards. When I think back over my own career, I don't remember every dish, I don't remember every menu, you know. I don't remember every busy night. My God, there was enough of them. What I remember are people. The apprentices who went on to become head chefs. The waiters who went on to be managers. The friendships that lasted long after we stopped working together. You know, some of the people I didn't even work with, but we became great friends because of the industry, you know. You know, great moments in kitchens where the team pulled together against the odds. And that's hospitality. It's not just the food, it's the people. Because without the people, what is hospitality? It is the people, you know? And without it, you don't have hospitality. You can have the food. Without the people, what is it? It ain't hospitality without them. You know, invest in your people. The food don't matter at the end of the day. Nobody will fucking remember it. Before we finish up. So, yeah, for tonight's takeaway, every one of us, we may wear a mask at some stage, you know. Sometimes it's for confidence, or sometimes it's for courage. And sometimes it's just simply a smile that hides a difficult day. So tomorrow, when you're walking home from the kitchen, the restaurant, the office, or your home, remember this. Never really truly know what somebody else is carrying. A kind word, a moment of patience, simple how are you, can mean more than you will ever know, you know, because the strongest people aren't always the ones who never struggle. Sometimes they're the ones who quietly keep showing up, you know. So if today's episode spoke to you, please take a moment to like, follow and subscribe, and share it with somebody who works in hospitality or someone who might need to hear this message. And I'd love you to join the conversation in the comments. What does the chef's mask mean to you? Have you ever worn one? Has somebody's kindness ever helped you take it off? You know? I'm Noel Keane, and thank you for spending the time with me. This is the dark side of the kitchen, and until next time, Look after your guests, look after your team, but above all, look after yourself, because the person behind the chef jacket matters as much as the jacket itself. And let's keep changing the world, one plate at a time.